Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 20th episode of Month of Joy, brought to you by TheaterWorks. I'm the technical director for TheaterWorks, and my name is Dan Porton. At this time, I'd like to remind you that if you're watching on Facebook, please turn on your closed captioning if you want. It is my privilege to present some more toy theater this evening as we continue our celebrations. So please let me welcome to the stage Sotirios.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. Although I live in Chicago, every holiday season I return home to my home state of Colorado, where I spend the holidays with my family. This year, of course, due to the pandemic, we have decided that it would be unsafe to do so. So I'm celebrating it without them. It's especially hard this year because it is my niece Lena's first Christmas. And so I want to dedicate this piece to her. In a small town in Colorado, the Winter Festival was always the highlight of the year. But this year, the festival was canceled because, well, it's 2020. Everyone was very upset about this, but no one was more upset than little Lena. It wasn't just the celebration with her friends and neighbors, but Lena loved the decorations the most of all, the wreaths, the ribbons, the ornaments, and most of all, the lights. There sure must be some way to get them up before Christmas, she thought. Lena went into her bedroom, and she called upon her friend, who was a 12-foot tall giraffe. Hello, Lena. Hello, giraffe. I would like to put up the decorations for the festival. Can you help me? I would, Lena. I just don't have any hands. You could use your mouth. You're 12 feet tall. But I'm supposed to be wearing a mask. What if you write a letter to the North Pole and ask Santa for some help? That is a great idea, Giraffe. And so Lena went up to her room. She sat at her desk and she wrote a letter to the North Pole. Dear Santa, I don't need any toys for Christmas. All I want is some help to put up the Winter Festival decorations before Christmas. Please reply back with your answer. P.S. I also want mass vaccination against COVID-19, but I'm sure everyone's asking for that. Love, your friend, Lena. And so Lena waited outside her house for a reply from the North Pole. She waited, and she waited. She waited, and she waited. Hello, Lena. Have you gotten a reply back yet? Nothing yet. What will you do? Well, I guess I will just start putting up the decorations myself. And then suddenly, they heard a noise coming towards them. Quick, Lena, move stage left. But it wasn't anything to be afraid of at all. It was 3 elves from the North Pole. Hi, Lena. We're on the decorations task force. We got your letter, and we're here to help you put up the festival decorations. Yippee! Hooray! That's wonderful. Well, let's get started. So with the elves' help, they first put the decorations on top of the houses. And then they put the decorations on the Christmas trees. And then Lena's favorite was that they put up the festival lights that stood on top of the entire town. The elves asked Lena to count it off. 3, 2, 1. And they gazed at the brilliant lights. Thank you so much, elves. They look magical. You're most welcome, Lena. We're off to decorate the next town now. Hooray! Merry Christmas! Well, Lena, I say we did a pretty good job. The decorations look amazing. But it feels like such a waste for all these decorations and no festival. But Giraffe, it was never just about the decorations. Every year I can see the festival lights from my window, but I also know that our friends and neighbors can also see the decorations from their windows too. By putting up the decorations, we're all able to enjoy something together while still being separate and safe. Lena and the giraffe looked at the houses of their neighbors, and they can see all of their friends huddled to the windows to see the festival lights and the beautiful decorations. It was so nice to see their friends' faces. It gave everyone a feeling of much needed happiness and reminded them all of the wonderful community that they were a part of. Lena, what you did was really nice and thoughtful. I think you should be mayor. Maybe one day. But for now, all I know is that I can't wait for Christmas 2021. I agree, said the giraffe. But for now, let's just look at the lights. The end.
That is phenomenal. Phenomenal artwork. Thank you for sharing that, Sotirios. That is. How long have you been drawing?
Oh, the whole life. Let me come down to you. So give me a second real quick to reset this. I've always been drawing. Since I was a kid, really, I was always obsessed with Disney animation. And that's how I learned, is I taught myself by, can you turn the studio lights on? Yeah, let's just do that. I learned by drawing and tracing animation cartoons. And that kind of led me to theater, which then led me to design, which that was my gateway drug in a way.
So it led into, and how long for toy theater?
For toy theater, for this particular piece, or just in general?
Just in general, your interest.
Yeah.
When did that start?
I was introduced to toy theater. It's a cornerstone class in the grad program that I went to at Northwestern in stage design, and they have this class called toy theater, which is based on what toy theater is, which is during the Victorian times, they would make these little paper models of the set as a souvenir. And then, because there wasn't television or really any kind of entertainment, they would then reenact the play or opera or whatever the case was for entertainment purposes. So
cool.
So the notion is it's scaled down, it's miniature, but it's also storytelling through objects. And my fascination with it was that in this, as a theater arts worker, I mean, if I can still say that today, but as a set designer, I'm always asking myself what makes something theatrical. And toy theater really exemplifies that in the sense that it leaves space for imagination. And to me, that's what theater is. And toy theater is very much exemplifies that, storytelling through objects. And so they have the designers and the directors take this class together. And what's really beautiful is that both disciplines bring something unique to the table. And so the designers can comment on presentation and abstraction, whereas the directors can comment also on presentation, of course, but performance and ways to do it. And we're all kind of fueling each other. And I just have to say there was a before and after with that class. It really changed me in a lot of ways. And your artistic director, Caitlin, I took that class with her. And her piece was just absolutely spectacular. It was really, really wonderful. It was a trip to watch.
So now I have to ask, what medium did she do?
She told this. It was a contemporary issue story, and it had to do with refugees. And the medium was shoeboxes with and every single shoebox was a little. I hate to call it a diorama because I feel like it muddies it, but that's essentially what it was. But it was like these paper cutout little puppets that she could pull on a string and make ships move, and she could do all the, and told the story about if memory serves me right, and I hate to speak for her, but it started with missing shoes on a cargo ship, and she found this beautiful way to weave that into talking about refugees trying to escape, and then on ships, and then then subsequently risking their lives and some losing him. And it was this heartbreaking but just stunningly beautiful example of storytelling. It was really, I loved it a lot.
What's been blowing me away personally is every time we do this, I'm seeing a different type of toy theater. So I got to see Cranky, and Hassan had Citrusville, which was like found object medium storytelling, and you had this beautiful artwork with three-dimensional houses that came apart. I was like, everybody's doing it in their own way, which I find phenomenal for theater. It's great. It's really revitalizing the creative side me during these times. So thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you for inviting me. This was an utter joy to participate with. So thank you so much for having me. It was a real treat to be able to do this again. I miss it a lot, and I'm sure you guys do too.
Absolutely. But one last question, and then I'll let you go. What was the inspiration for the giraffe in the story?
So this summer, as I'm sure you were too, all of a sudden, I mean, I was in tech for a show that we were just about to open, and then all of a sudden it's like, theaters start posting their notices that they're closing down. And so I was in the middle of working on designing a show that I was sure was going to go up in October. So I'm just going to keep on working on it. And it was a more high profile show. It was going to be a next level project for me as an associate. So was drafting the show and submitting it in, and they were budgeting. And then all of a sudden, as most people, just like as a freelancer, it's a really heartbreaking thing that just events start disappearing from your calendar. And so I challenged myself to stay sharp. I gave myself a break just to kind of like heal in a way. And then I challenged myself to, during this time, my sister gave birth to my niece, Lena, and sending me photos, and of course falling in love. And I'm a very passionate uncle, so not being able to be around her was really heartbreaking. And so I challenged myself as a Mesa State creative, just doing a morning drawing every morning of whatever I could find. And Nelson, do you mind handing me underneath that ream of paper? There's a box. I can actually show you the drawing. And so I started drawing. I've always had a big fun fascination with boats, and so I drew this picture of a little girl in a boat, and then I was like, this needs something else. And drew a giraffe in the boat with her. And that led to, this drawing, which led to basically a series. And I've actually started writing a children's book with these characters.
What a great idea.
Yeah, it's about a girl named Lena and her imaginary friend who is a mansplaining giraffe. And so that was very much in my heart. And I was working on a lot of things during the holidays. I have this side hustle where I sell these illustrated letters from Santa Claus. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, super fun. And so Christmas is on my heart. This idea about community and finding ways to be with community was in my heart. And then I was missing writing the story and illustrating this giraffe, these adventures with this little girl and her imaginary friend who's a giraffe. So I kind of wanted to use this opportunity to bring these characters together who, I've become quite smitten with. So.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing. We really appreciate you having and sharing your artwork and your storytelling with us.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you. It was nice to do it again.
Well, hopefully in 2021, we'll be able to collaborate on something together.
I would love that so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And happy holidays and happy New Year.
And to you and yours. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for joining us.
Hello, and I missed them, please.
I will. I will pass
about the baseball team. I don't care about the baseball team.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah, have a good one.
Have a good night. I'm going to let you go.
Sounds good.
And on that note, please join us again tomorrow night. We have Jackie Fox, and we continue our month of joy, December 21st, 2020.